Hello, hello. Look at this winter coat. It is so cold out here today. It is -5 degrees, but when I left this morning before physical therapy, it was -12. Cold as ice. All right. Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're watching. Welcome to Yellow Brick Road Reselling. I'm Tamara, and this is what I call my travel time chit chat. It's literally me just traveling and chit chatting. How's that? Well, today I've got a couple errands to run. I just got done physical therapy. Today they actually did some remeasurements. I think I've been going for, must be 2 months. I'm thinking it's got to be at least 2 months, because this is the third time they've measured. So they measured the first day. I think they measured like a month in, and then they just measured today. And she said that definitely getting better range of motion in my shoulder. I have what they call frozen shoulder. For anybody who's new, if you've been following along, you know that I got frozen shoulder. And it's getting better. Now, last week I did get my booster, and I decided to get it in my frozen shoulder arm because I didn't want two bad arms. Plus, I can't sleep on my right side right now because of it. And I didn't know, well, I knew I wouldn't be able to sleep on whatever arm I got my booster on. So I said, hey, throw the booster in my bad arm, so I'd have double bad. And so it actually impeded my physical therapy last week. I actually canceled on Thursday because I couldn't even move my arm. It hurt. I said, there's no way I'm going to be able to do the exercises. But so she remeasured, and yeah, pretty good. And everything she did, she's like, did you feel pain with any of it? And I said, no, not at all. Not even really discomfort. So that's good. It's a good improvement. I'm excited. Now, I will say, though, that the booster shot kind of aggravated my shoulder a little bit, where I haven't really been having much pain. But at night, I'm finding it kind of hard to get comfortable again, and it's kind of sore. And I don't know, not the arm, but the shoulder. So the arm, I would expect, because of the shot, railroad tracks. I didn't know if my phone would go bumping off the little ledge I got you on. So yeah, so I don't know. She said that they just inject that fluid and it takes a little bit. Probably within the next few days you should feel some big difference. So we'll see. But anyway, it's still getting better, and that's a good thing. And she goes, we got a little bit more work to do. And that was I didn't end up bringing it up to her, but one of my questions is going to be like, when do I stop? Like, I still know I have more stuff I got to work on, because it's not 100%. It's not even 90%. So, I mean, I know at some point I don't want to keep going, because, I have a copay, and it costs me money every time I go for physical therapy. And right now it's been, probably have gone 10 weeks, I would say. 10 weeks, and each week cost me $60, so $600 I've spent so far. Oof, that's a lot of money. But I had to get my arm better, and this would speed it up. From the sounds of it, it would get better on its own, but it could take up to like 3 or 4 years if I just did it on its own. And I didn't really want to take a chance and wait that long. So, all right, so that's my health update with that. Yesterday I went to jury duty. So for those, again, who have been following along, just giving you an update, I did get excused from jury duty. I had a doctor's note, and the doctor had faxed it last week, but because of my booster, I was in bed, sleeping, tired, forgot to call them. And then Friday I was running the roads, and I kept saying, oh, I gotta call. When I stop, I gotta look up their phone number so I can call them. I kept forgetting. And then I didn't remember until after hours, and I said, all right, now I got to go to jury duty on Monday morning to find out if I'm excused. So when I got there was nobody around. Like, there was other jurors, but there was nobody for me to ask. I probably was there for about an hour before somebody actually came out, and I could say, hey, can you check my name on the list? And she's like, what juror number are you? And I said 35. And she goes, oh yeah, you're excused. I'm like, all right, see ya. Everybody gave me that evil eye, like, how did you get out of this? Actually, when I was leaving, I had to go back through the metal detector on the opposite way. And there was a line of people still waiting to go through it. And he goes, oh, you're the like security guard guy. He's like, so you're leaving? you're leaving for good or something like that. And I said, yep. I said, I've been released. And he goes, don't tell anybody in this line how you did it, because they're all going to want the same thing. And I'm like, obviously I'm not going to spread my medical issues across the whole lobby floor. So I just kept on walking and walked out. So that's good. Honestly, I wouldn't mind sitting on. It's a county-wide. Here in New York, they do things by town and then by county. So it kind of would have been interesting. I mean, to get to the county level, it probably could have been a really interesting case. So I'm kind of disappointed. I really would like to sit on a jury. It's just, I physically cannot sit on a jury for too long without being able to take a break when I need to take a break. So that's what my doctor wrote. And you know what I just found out? So my doctor, I've been going to him since I moved here to New York 4 years ago. And I didn't know this, but he is the chief medical officer at the hospital that he's affiliated with. I had no idea that he was that type of ranking doctor. So that's kind of interesting. I really, really like my doctor. And isn't that such a good feeling when you really like your doctor? And I would highly encourage anybody. First of all, here we are with the reselling. I haven't even talked to reselling channel. But if you don't like your doctor, change doctors. It is not worth staying with a doctor. So my doctor prescribed me some pain medicine for my shoulder. And I looked it up and I was like, I don't know if I should take this. It's medicine called Lyrica. It sounds like it could possibly be addictive. And I told him I didn't want anything that was addictive. I was looking for help to sleep at night. And after him and hawing for about a week, I finally said to my husband, I said, you know what? I trust my doctor. I like my doctor. Every advice he's always given me, I always double check it because it's just who I am as a person. And he's never failed me in the 4 years I've had him. I just really, really trust what he says. And I said, I'm going to just go for it and I'm going to do it because I trust him. And I think it turned out to be the right decision. I felt pretty good on it, and it helped me get some sleep at night. So, so I think so I trust him. So trust your doctor. If you don't, get a new doctor. I had a doctor in Vermont. I've had quite a few doctors before I moved here, and my last one I really liked, and the one like two before that person, he ended up moving. I really liked him, and I was so disappointed when he left. I was so disappointed. And then the doctor in between them, I didn't really like. And I was able to switch to a different doctor. And then I ended up liking the other one. So I think you've got to find one that you really like. My last doctor in Vermont so this doctor I have now is an older gentleman. I'm assuming he's probably going to be close to retiring, which made me a little nervous when I ended up going with him. Because of his age, I didn't want to get comfortable with a doctor and then have him retire. But my last doctor was young, just out of like medical school, but she was so up on like today's stuff, today's medicine, today's new technology of treating. At the time I was just diagnosed with diabetes, and she just seemed extremely knowledgeable in that realm, and I really liked that. Now this doctor that I'm with now, he's up with stuff, but if I bring something to him and he's not aware of it, he will sit there and look it up while talking to me to see, like, to read about something. And he never makes me feel rushed when I'm in with him. So I think that he's limiting his patience, because my in-laws just tried to get in with him and they said no. And I think that it's nice because a lot of doctors will book like 10 or 15-minute appointments. And I think he books out a good half hour with his patients. So I never, ever feel like I'm rushed. Even when sometimes he's behind, which is very, very rare for him to be running late. But when he is running late, he never makes me feel rushed that he has to catch up, back up to his regular schedule or something. He just still gives me the time that I'm due. So I like that. So last week I was supposed to get my hair cut, and I it was the day after my booster, and I was so exhausted that I ended up calling her and saying, I'm sorry, I got to cancel. I am just unable to probably even drive there. I was just exhausted, so tired. So that was pretty much my only symptom. Last time I got the booster, I had not the booster, but the actual vaccine. I had a really bad headache both times. Second time worse. I was tired and the headache. This time, no headache at all, and just tired for that second day, and that was it. And the next day I was really pretty much back to my normal self. I wasn't really tired at all. So I'm pretty happy with the overall, except my arm hurting on that Thursday. My arm hurt. But besides that, by Friday, and so I just really felt like back to myself. So that's the update on that. So now I'm heading to get my hair cut. I called her on that Wednesday and canceled, and she said, I can't take you at all next week. I'm full. Do you want me to call you if I have a cancellation? And I'm like, absolutely, call me. So she called me when I was just at physical therapy and said, I can take you at 11. And I said, I will be there. So that's where I'm heading now to get this haircut. So when I pause from this one, if I come back on, which my camera is really full. I use my phone, and it's the memory is really full right now. So I don't know how much more I'll be able to record, but if I do, you'll be able to see my new haircut. When I'm done that, I'm going to run over to Home Depot. So here's some reselling chat finally. Lowe's and Home Depot are having their yearly clearance of stuff, and I'll tell you, last year, if they have any like summer items left, now is when they mark them down, like a huge markdown, sometimes 90% off. So those railroad tracks, I bumped, and there goes the phone. So they have 90% off right now. If you go to, in some areas are 90% off. So like weed whackers, lawnmowers, leaf blowers. If you are looking for stuff for like weeds, like weed killer, rose bush feed, bug control, ants, roaches, all that kind of stuff, that stuff is all marked down like a huge discount. So my in-laws are working on putting in a new kitchen and a new bathroom in their new place, and they had went and picked out a bunch of stuff previously, and I said to them, hey, there's a lot of stuff on sale. So they had paid like $150 for a kitchen faucet, and I was able to find some on clearance for $20 and $30, kitchen bathroom ones. So if you're in the market for your own home improvement, right now is a great time to run to Lowe's and Home Depot. I'm running to Home Depot because I haven't gone there yet to see, but my sister was telling me, well, my mom and my sister were both saying yesterday that there's a lot of stuff on clearance. And my brother was there, I think 2 weeks ago, and he was telling me there was stuff on clearance, and my sister-in-law was sending me pictures, but the clearance just wasn't big enough for me. So I'm hoping now that it's gone down a little bit more, so I can hopefully pick up some goodies. But yeah, if you're looking for your own self, like deck stain, I think I saw I belong to some clearance groups, and one of them's like a Lowe's Home Depot clearance or something like that, and which is great. And people share like the BrickSeek link. If you're unfamiliar with what BrickSeek is, it's BrickSeek.com, and it's a website where you can go on and you can look up your local store levels of inventory. So it's really good to use. I find it for the stores around me, because I don't have a lot of the stores that like Office Depot and Target. I don't have those around here, but I use it for Walmart and Lowe's. They do have Home Depot, but it's not as detailed as Lowe's and Walmart is. But it's good when you belong to some of those groups. You can see what other people are finding, and then you can click on the BrickSeek link that they'll put into the post on Facebook, and you'll be able to see if you have any of those items on clearance in your area. So I'll hang out in those a lot of times before I'm going to run out, just to kind of get an idea. It's also good for, especially I say like Walmart again, if I look at those and because I don't pay for BrickSeek right now, which I'm debating on paying for it again. I think it's one of those subscriptions that's good to maybe subscribe and use it for a month or two, and then when the deals are done, like unsubscribe and then resubscribe again when the deals start happening, when these markdowns. So I find like right now, January, beginning of February, the deals are usually starting to be really good for markdowns, and then it'll probably die for a while until July, when Walmart starts to have their big toy markdown, getting ready for Q4. I like to resubscribe then, because I can start to get an idea of when the stores around me are going to start having their big deals. But if you're not a subscriber and you don't pay for BrickSeek, you can still use their inventory checker. So by clicking on one of those links in those Facebook groups, and if you just go to Facebook, if you're not already part of those groups, just Google like BrickSeek or clearance deals, Walmart, Lowe's, whatever store, Target, that type of thing, and groups will come up, and just join them. If you don't like them, just leave them. Most of them I've been very happy with. And just, it's nice because you'll be able to see, like, so I was saying with Walmart, hanging out in the group, and then I started to see, oh, there's a lot of home goods. So of course there's been a lot of clearance items that have been posted, but when you start to see the home goods, because I think it was beginning of February when I started selling on Amazon 3 years ago, and that's the first big clearance was home goods and sporting goods, like the fishing stuff was starting to be clearance. And when I start to see that like posted in these groups, it's enough for me to be like, oh, okay, I need to make sure I go up and down the home good aisles, look for like the Pioneer Woman stuff, because I don't always see stuff in our clearance aisle. We have a clearance aisle, but very rarely is there any good stuff in the clearance aisle. You really got to go up and down the aisles of the sections that are on clearance. So for instance, when toys are being marked down at Walmart, I got to go up and down the toy aisle. It doesn't get moved into the clearance aisle until there's only a few items left. So it's when it's really been already picked over considerably, then it ends up in our clearance aisle. But in the meantime, you really got to go up and down the aisle. So when I see that fishing is on clearance, which I've been really picky, because I picked up stuff back then that didn't do so well, but there was some items that did really, really well. So I'll keep an eye out for those to see if those go on clearance again. So BrickSeek helps, being in those groups help. It just kind of gives you a heads up. But just know that there was some items that I picked up at Lowe's, and they were selling for $40 when I picked them up. I paid $10 for them. And then I sent them in last week, and they got, when I sent them in, the price had already gone down to $34 or $35 from when I scanned them. So it probably was about 4 days from when I scanned it to when I was prepping it to send in. And then it hit the warehouse, and I looked last night, the price is now down to $24. And it was at $40, and it's now at $24. So one of the things to do when that happens is to just be really diligent with saying, okay, I'm going to keep my price, unless you need the cash flow. I say I'm going to keep my price, and I'm going to pretty much, like hold on to it. And when you look at the Keepa chart, it was clear that it normally sells in the 40, and that's what Amazon was selling it for. And it dips a little bit, but then would always go back up. Now that's always something that happens when you are a clearance shopper, is you will notice that people will buy things for cheaper than you can get it. So my store had it for $10, but I'm guessing there were stores that probably already had it down to maybe $5. And then somebody's okay with making only $5 on it, so they'll drop the price down to $24, make their $5, be gone, and off the listing. So I'm going to hold out. I'll hold on to it until the price goes back up, unless I find that, a month or two goes by and the price is not going back up. I only sent in 15, I think, of the items. I did a case pack and sent them in. I got more at home. It is actually more of a summer item. So I'm thinking that, spring's going to hit and the price is going to start to go back up. So that's why I only sent in a smaller amount. I looked at the number of sellers at the time, how many it was currently selling a month, and then said, okay, I'm going to divide it by the number of sellers, how many it sells. So if it sold 50 a month and there was 5, I'm just using easy numbers. If there was 50 sales a month and there were 5 sellers, then I would say, okay, then I'm looking at selling 10 a month if we shared the buy box. And you kind of got to look at the pricing too. Like, is somebody really high with the price? If it's selling for 40 and there's somebody on there at 60, I don't count them as one of my competitive resellers. So I'll sit there and so there could have been 6 sellers, but I'll discard that one if they're really high. So in this case, I said, okay, it came out to 15, and that's what I sent in, was 15. So we'll kind of keep an eye on that one. But now that I'm getting back into FBA more, I could list some of them FBM, but I probably won't. I think I'm just going to hang on to them, and I'll send them in. As those 15 sell, I'll send in more. But hopefully the price doesn't go down any further. And I was telling my husband, I said, they only had a few in stock, so they should sell out pretty quickly. At least within the month, they should sell out. And then we'll go from there. But I'm going to go and do some scanning of faucets. I do really well picking up faucets. I think I'm gated in... No, I'm not gated in Moen. Delta, maybe? I'm gated in... No, I'm not Delta. Not Delta. I can sell Delta because I got some toilet paper holders I'm sending in. I don't know. I kind of like the clearance. And I'm trying to get away from sourcing clearance and wanting to find more replenishables. I feel like that's really, to be successful, you got to find some good replenishables. But I don't want to do seasonal replenishables. I don't want to be chasing after seasonal stuff. I spent some time a couple days ago. Oh yeah, yesterday. I went to Walmart after my jury duty got excused. And I spent some time scanning Valentine's Day stuff. And there was some that I found was profitable if I could have done FBA. But I don't trust that if I send something in today, it's going to be available in time for Valentine's Day. Today is January 11th. Got a red light. Are you coming? No. What are you doing? What are you doing, car? I guess they were slowing down because the light was changing for me. So I was scanning some stuff and I'm like, shipping is going to be too much because it's going to end up being priority mail for some of the stuff I found, because they were like multi-packs. And I said, by the time I do the multi-pack, it brings it up into priority. And I don't think some of these items I was looking at, I'm like, yeah, they're not going to fit in like a flat rate. So I said, yeah, just really the money's not there to FBM. FBA would have been better, but by the time, I'll just tell you guys, for Christmas, I did FBM only. I did not do any FBA because there were items I was selling that were Christmas themed, and when I looked at the FBA sellers on the listings, they had an estimated delivery that was after Christmas, and this was like end of November, beginning of December. And I thought, how disappointing for you to send something in FBA that's a Christmas item and it doesn't even become available for them to ship it until after Christmas. I looked at one of the listings the other day and I saw there was FBA sellers on it that looks like finally being able to sell their product. That happened to me a couple Christmases ago. I sent in some gingerbread house kits, and I don't know what happened. They were in like FC transfer, fulfillment center transfer for like the longest time, and they didn't even come available until like March. Then I sent them in like October. So I was like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. If I send something in right now, it won't get there. It could possibly take a month and before it becomes live, and then we're looking at February 10th, and Valentine's Day is February 14th. So unless it's probably like a candy or something. I did notice I was gated in Hershey, and I couldn't get ungated in Hershey, which I thought that was kind of interesting. I thought I was ungated in Hershey in the past. But, you know, like a Dove chocolate. I saw they had some strawberry cream. So something like that might be, something that, you know, a seasonal flavor that people will pay money for, because after the holiday, because they want that flavor. But if you were to sell something that was Valentine's specific, sorry, let me get over in this lane. So if it's a Valentine's specific thing, like, I don't know, like some type of decoration or something for the classroom, right? So I know a lot of times they'll do something for the classroom, like a basket or something that all the kids would put all their Valentines in when you get them, or a bag, or treat bags or something like that, because you're going to make your own treat bags for the classroom. So those types of things you would definitely want to have in and being able to ship before Valentine's Day. But Dove strawberry flavored chocolates, yeah, people will buy them afterwards. If they love those strawberry ones and you can only get them at that time of year, yeah, they'll buy them later on, because you can't buy them in the store once the store clears them out. So those are okay to pick up. Let's see. So what else am I going to do today? I got some packages I did yesterday. I texted my husband. I'm hoping he got my message asking him to bring them to the post office for me. Otherwise, when I get home, I'll have to not go to my local one. I'll have to go to the other one, because my local post office probably won't be open. I've got about 25 minutes to waste until my hair appointment. Not really sure what I should go do. Or maybe I'll swing by my mom's, because she's cleaning and decluttering herself, and she asked me if I wanted a few items that she had, and I said I'll take them. So maybe I'll stop by and grab those from her before going to get my hair cut, because it's 10:30, my appointment's at 11, so I got a little bit of time to waste. I don't really know what else to do with myself. Not enough time for me to run into Home Depot right now, because I definitely need more than a half hour to go up and down. I'll literally go up and down every single aisle looking for any deals I can find. It'd be nice to know if she was available now. I almost went to McDonald's, because I used the McDonald's app, and they had, if you bought something, you could get a free coffee or an iced coffee. And I thought, I'm thirsty, because I got some water here, but it doesn't taste very good. Yeah, watch out. You almost tipped me. So, so I was going to stop and pick up an iced coffee, actually. I'm really thirsty, but maybe I can grab a bottle of water at my mom's and get that stuff from her. It is so cold today. I don't remember what it was when I went on live with you, but it's -5 now. Still, I think it was probably that. The car's getting hot, and I want to take off my jacket, but I got to get out of the car here in a few minutes. It's snowy and icy. This is the type of weather I don't like. At least the sun's out today. But that's why it's so cold, because there's no cloud coverage that kind of gives us a cushion of warmth. Oh, so anybody who's an Alabama fan, Scott, sorry your team lost. But I did watch the game a little bit last night. Georgia and Alabama played. I stayed awake through the first quarter, and through the second quarter, I started to doze off. And I told my husband, I'm like, I'm going to bed. I said, hopefully I'll wake up just before it ends, and I'll be able to see the end of the game. And that's exactly what happened. I woke up, he had gone to bed, and I think it was 11:30, 11:40, something like that. And I turned on, I actually checked my phone, and it showed that it still had like 6 minutes left, and it was 19-18. And I said, oh, I better get up. I better turn on the TV so I can watch the end of the game, because 19-18, it's anybody's game at that point. And unfortunately, Georgia had scored. I say unfortunately because, by watching the Bearded Picker, I've kind of become an Alabama fan, kind of been cheering them on when I watch them. And of course, Matt Jones, who's the quarterback for the Patriots, is from Alabama. So I was watching, and Georgia ended up scoring. And I'm like, okay, Alabama can still score a touchdown, do a 2-point conversion, tie it up. It's still doable. And it got down, I think it was like 30-something seconds left. And Georgia intercepted the football for what they call a pick six, which is when they intercept and run it back for 6 points. So I'm like, yeah, forget it. I turned it off. I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna watch the last 30 some odd seconds, because the chances of them coming back and scoring 2 touchdowns are pretty slim. So I ended up turning it off and just going to bed. So I was disappointed in them. But that's it for college football. I'm not even really a big college football watcher, except for every now and then on a Saturday, if there was nothing else on, I would watch it. And I did watch the last time Alabama and Georgia played. And then I watched the game where Alabama lost. I can't remember who they were playing. It was their only loss until last night. It was their first loss in like 3 years. But I did watch that game. But I do love my NFL football, and I took all last year off in protest of what was going on in the NFL. I didn't agree with a lot of it. I missed it so much, and I kind of protested baseball, I don't know, probably like 15, 20 years ago when baseball was striking, and I kind of didn't agree with a lot of it, and I said, I'm not going to watch baseball anymore. And I don't think I've ever watched a baseball game since. I was never really a huge baseball fan, but football, every Sunday I'm watching 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock games, and every Thursday night and Monday night and Sunday night and all this stuff. So it really was tough for me last year, kind of stepping aside, and we didn't start watching football until the playoffs last year, when Tom Brady made it into the playoffs. And of course went all the way to the Super Bowl. I'm a Patriot fan, but I am a fan of Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski, huge fans of both of theirs. So of course I just kept following their journey and what was going on with them. This year I've been watching every Sunday, just loving my football again this year. Happy to see the Patriots made it into the playoffs. And of course Tampa Bay's in the playoffs. And my Aaron Rodgers, I like Aaron Rodgers. Excited to see Ben Roethlisberger won his last game. He's retiring, and I've always been a big Ben fan. He was actually one of my quarterbacks when I did fantasy football for a while. So I've been a fan of his. All right, I'm at my mama's. My sister's still here, so that's good. I get to see her before she leaves. And I will probably not talk to you guys again until after I get my hair cut. All right, see you in a bit. Look at this haircut. It's so short. She's like, how much do you want me to cut off? And I'm like, cut it all off. Cut it off. So yeah, now I'm like, woo, that's really short. Whenever I get my hair cut, it always takes me about a week for me to actually be like, okay, this is good. I like my haircut. So we'll see. So she curled it and stuff, but when I get home tomorrow when I wash it and do it myself, I think I'll feel a little bit better about it. It's really short. It's great for summertime, but man, right now it's 0 degrees. It warmed up a little bit. So I went to Home Depot. Well, first I stopped at my Ma's. Last time I saw you, I was stopping there, and only had about 10 minutes with her. Surprise, my sister was still there. She came over visiting from Vermont, and she's still here. She decided to stay another day, so that was nice to see her briefly. But they're working on like organizing my mom's house and stuff, which is awesome. That's what I've been doing at my house. Actually today, I think I'm going to clean the refrigerator out when I get home, because garbage day is today. My refrigerator needs some cleaning out. Time to like throw away those salad dressings that expired in the summer. How many of you have dressings like that? You have a dressing that you bought, and you opened it this summer, and it's still sitting in your refrigerator, and it's already expired, and so toss those out. And I cleaned out my food pantry. I've been cleaning my cupboards, my junk drawers. I'm just feeling so great. I love this time of year when I just give myself a pass for organizing, and just, I don't know. I just love it. I love organization. I'm a huge on that. I really need to do it in my business right now and spend some time in my office. So the other thing I need to do is I talked to my husband, and my father-in-law brought my mail to the post office for me. And I think, what time is it? It's 1:45. I think I'm probably going to stop by. I'm going to swing by the post office. I had a UPS package, and I guess he brought it to the post office. So either I can just wait till tomorrow, which I was thinking about doing, and getting it back from him tomorrow, because I'm sure he's like, this isn't ours, it's UPS. He may have given it to UPS for me, because UPS does stop there at the post office. So either, I think I just might wait till tomorrow, because I bet you there's a high possibility he gave it to UPS. Because a lot of times when I go around noonish, the UPS man is there at the post office. So I wouldn't be surprised if he just passed it on to him for me. I didn't put my phone in my holder, because it's not working right. As you know, I complain about it every time I do these videos about my holder not working right. But I went through McDonald's. I got myself my Diet Coke, which nothing tastes better than fountain soda. I love fountain soda. I hope they never get rid of the $1 sodas. How long do you think it'll be until they stop that? Right? Everything, inflation's going up on everything. I was talking to my hairdresser about the cost of her laundry detergent. She says it's gone up $1.50 from when she bought it throughout the year, and so in the last year it's gone up $1.50. And I was telling her how my mom bought paint, because she painted one of the walls in her living room, or my sister painted it for her yesterday, and it was like almost $60 for a gallon of paint. Like, holy smokes, that's a lot of money. I wanted to paint my house, but I'm not doing that. There's some rooms on the inside that, when we moved in, everything, like, it was in good enough condition, so we never repainted anything 4 years ago. And now I'm kind of like, okay, I really would like to repaint the kitchen and living room. The kitchen is like a peach color. Are you turning? I think you're turning. It's a peach color, and when I first moved in, I was like, I don't know if I like this, and then I'm like, it's not that bad. It's kind of grown on me. And my living room is like I was gonna say like an army green, but like a moss green, or I don't know. I got like high cathedral ceilings. My ceiling is all tongue and groove pine, so it kind of goes with the theme of the house. Inside of the house is very like rustic-y type of stuff. I like it, but it's so dark in my living room because there's no really good natural light that comes in. So I really want to paint it maybe the same like shade of green, but just a lighter. Does that make any sense? So I like the green, but I want it a lighter green. So I'm thinking about doing that. But now that I see how expensive paint is, I don't know. I was going to hire somebody to paint because I don't feel like doing it, especially with my shoulder and everything. I'm not sure I could do it. My husband hates painting, so he won't be any help. So I'd have to pay somebody to paint, which I probably could get the Amish to do, and then I'd have to pay obviously for the paint. I don't know. I gotta price out and see how much it's gonna cost, but that sounds like a lot of money. $50 for a gallon, $50-$60 for a gallon of paint. I remember when it was like $12 for a gallon of paint. So I went to Home Depot, and all I ended up buying was, I'll show you what I got, because it's right here next to me. I got some, none of this is for reselling, but it's like insect killer stuff. That was $1. And then I got some moss spray, right there, for moss. I was telling you they have a lot of their like summer stuff. So right now, obviously, we wouldn't use that because it's cold and it's winter and there's snow on the ground and it's 0 degrees out. So I don't think we have to worry about mosquitoes, although I do have some mosquitoes flying around inside my house. But the bug spray will be good for the spring to kind of start keeping down the ticks and stuff so they don't get on the cat. And then, or my husband, he brings ticks home. And then the moss at my in-laws, their new house they're buying has like moss on this patio. It's like a cement patio. And so I called my husband and I said, like, does the moss die in the winter, or like what happens? And it kind of, I guess it just goes dormant, which is what I thought. And I said, well, if we just pressure wash it, will that take care of it, or should we get something like this? And he's like, well, for $1, might as well. So I picked up 2 of those so we can at least spray it, pressure wash it, and put that stuff on it to hopefully kill the spores of the moss and keep that from growing back. So for $1, why not? So if you need that type of stuff, go to Home Depot and Lowe's. They both have that type of stuff on clearance right now. Normally, I think it was like $14, both of those, and they were down to $1. So good price. $5 I spent there because I bought 3 of the bug things and 2 of the moss. But that's all. I walked around, I scanned some lights. I got a lot of Hampton Bay lights that you can put up in a house, but most of them are like vanity lights. Really, I don't know, Hampton Bay just doesn't sell well, and so I looked at that and I ended up not picking up any of that. All the other really good stuff I was looking for didn't have any. I was hoping to find some faucets. There was really only 2 faucets, but they weren't marked down very good. And what else did I scan? Oh, they had a lot of like gardening tools. So the gardening tools were normally like $14 to $19, and they were down to like $4 and $5. But they weren't, when I scanned them, like my buy cost came up at like $2. And I said, yeah, I'm not gonna pick those up. When I say my buy cost, I use Scoutify. I think that's what it's called. Through Inventory Lab. It's an app that you can use to scan stuff, and you set your parameters of like how much ROI you want, and you kind of put all these numbers in ahead of time. So then when you're scanning, it will give you this green thumbs up or tell you to buy something or not buy it, and tells you what your buy cost is. So if it says my buy cost is $2.05 and something is for sale for $4.15, I know that, okay, yeah, that's not in the pocket of where I'm looking at for ROI, and I just don't buy it. So I passed up all those. I scanned them all though, and I ended up passing them all up. They're really good quality. So if you need gardening tools, they're very good quality gardening tools. I don't really need them. I probably could have bought a spade though. I could use a new spade when I think about it. I think mine is like warped or something. Mine's a cheap one from like Walmart. Probably should have picked one up for $4. Probably would have been nice. But the trick is to know where it is in the springtime when I go to plant. So this year, I am really debating on whether or not I'm going to have a garden this year, a vegetable garden. I probably won't do any this year. So last year, I have a raised bed garden, and then we have, hold on, I got a cough. Excuse me. I've got a raised bed, and then I have, we have like food plots for hunting for my husband, and he gave me, wasn't that nice of him? He gave me one whole section that he had never used for planting anything for the deer, and he gave it to me a couple years ago, and we started planting like pumpkins and butternut squash, acorn squash, all that kind of stuff. And a lot of times when I buy stuff for my raised beds, it comes in like a flat of 6, but I only have room for like 2 in there. So we planted all those extra ones in that garden. Well, this year, or last year, 2021, the deer ate all of my hot pepper plants. They like ate them right down. It was really crazy. And they ate the Brussels sprouts, the eggplant. What else did they eat? Well, they ate those. And weather took out my zucchini and my squash. I ended up with no zucchini or squash. But so I'm thinking about not doing a garden this year because last year we were gone the whole month of July for our cross-country trip, and this year we're planning on doing a lot more traveling, and that's when stuff starts to ripe up here in the north. And my in-laws they were house sitting, and they don't own gardens, so they don't really know when to pick stuff or how to cut stuff back, or I don't know. My basil plant, my cilantro were so big, and I'm like, oh, that was such a waste because I didn't get a chance to really harvest any before we ended up going on our vacation. And the same thing for like some of my tomatoes and just a lot of my like green beans. Like so much stuff ended up going bad because we just weren't home to harvest it, and they're just not really familiar with what to do. So since we're going to be gone a lot this summer, I've decided I'm probably just not going to do a garden at all this year. And instead, I'll just go to the farmer's market or the local Amish stands. They sell their vegetables. And, they used to be really cheap, but they're kind of getting expensive too. But in the long run, I think it's just going to be easier because nothing stinks more than taking time to put in a garden and prepping it and doing all the stuff for it, and then the stuff just going to waste. Honestly, I prefer just to go buy what I need when I need it instead of, well, nothing's great though, then nothing's better than going out to your garden and picking like a fresh cucumber and making a cucumber sandwich, or picking a zucchini and a squash and slicing them up and frying it in a pan, or making kebabs with it or something like that in the summer. I love it. We love eating things fresh from the garden. But if we're going to be traveling, and this year is our first full summer with our RV, then really it's just probably not going to be worth the time and effort putting into it to plan it. So I guess I don't really need that spade in the long run. So I think I'm going to clean out my refrigerator when I get home, and then I'm going to go downstairs and I got to put some time in. I really feel like taking a vacation from reselling. I think something about Q4, you just go. Plus balancing your reselling Q4 with your personal life and stuff. I'm just kind of feeling like I want to take a break. And, but then part of me is like, I got so much to do, right? I've been thinking about taxes, and I got to catch up on my accounting, and I think I'm caught up until like September. So I got to do October, November, and December. So I'm like, all right, you really just need to at least spend a couple hours a day in your office. I need to finish up an FBA shipment that I started. I'm probably going to finalize that today and box that up so I can drop that off either today or drop it off tomorrow. So yeah, I got to at least do a little bit. At least do a little. So I don't have to spend all day in the office, but at least spend some time in the office. Plus I got some orders from last night that I haven't had a chance to package yet since I was off doing my physical therapy and my haircut in Home Depot. So I'm gonna go do that. Let's grab the mail. Let's see what kind of mail we got today. I'll grab my mail. Oh, not much. Gosh, it's been a while since we've gotten mail. All these tax documents are starting to come in. How much fun is that? Plus now we get mail for my in-laws. And the problem is they both have the same first and last name. So a lot of places, like when they started going to the doctors here, they go to some of the same doctors my husband goes to, and they would get paperwork in the mail. They were both going to cardiac rehab because they both had a heart attack last year. And my husband filled out the paperwork that was for his dad or something like that. And we're like, listen, you got to put their middle initial, otherwise we won't know who it belongs to. So, all right, well, I guess I'll let you guys go because now I'm pulling in the garage, and I'm going to go. I feel like I went really crooked. Hold on. I've got to. I was not paying attention. I pulled in so crooked. Then I'm going to forget when I go to back out. My gosh, I've never pulled in this crooked. You know how I could tell? My husband hung a tennis ball up here, and it tells me how far to pull in so I can shut the door. And the ball was way over here, and it's supposed to be here in the middle. I'm like, oh, that's not right. So yeah, now I'm a little more centered. Hey, thanks a lot for watching, and like, subscribe, you know, all that stuff, that YouTubery, as somebody calls it every now and then. That's it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed just listening to me while you were working, listing, packing, whatever you're doing. All right, see you guys next time. Bye. Oh my gosh, it's so cold out. 17 below zero right now. I've got to go and do a grocery pickup for the week for the groceries. We are getting a nor'easter today. Or actually, I guess it starts tonight, so it's probably good timing. I'm going to go get some groceries, so we're all set for that. Thankfully, we have a generator, so if we lose power, we're set with that. But my husband's been working on our heating system. For some reason, we got 3 zones, and one of the zones, zone 2, which is our bedroom and the bathroom and the 2 guest bedrooms, it has been so cold in there. It just is not feeling like it's getting any heat. So he actually changed the, what's that called? The thing that like pumps out the water, because we have hot water heat. Oh my gosh, I just knew what it was called. I just thought, I just forgot it. Oh my gosh, I can't think of it, but whatever. He just changed that out and it didn't fix the problem. So now he's troubleshooting that, and I'm like, why did you decide to change that out the day before it was going to be the coldest day of the season? And it didn't end up working, and at least we had some heat. Now we got no heat in that area, so we got to keep all the bedroom doors open so the heat from the living room and hallway and all that kind of goes into those rooms. And then this morning I went to take a shower, and the drains in the shower was clogged and water just started backing up as I was waiting for the water to warm up. So then I'm like, okay, I guess I got to take a bath. We got one of those big, like, I don't know, jacuzzi tubs in our master bath. So I'm like, oh, I guess I'm going to take a bath this morning, which I don't take baths in the morning. I usually just at night to soak and hang out, but it's never for like cleanliness reasons. So I'm like, well, I guess I'll take a bath today. So I started the water waiting for it to get hot. And then I noticed that wasn't draining. So I'm like, okay, so the bath is out of the question also. And so here I am without a bath today. So I brushed my teeth and all that in the sink. And I said, oh, well, the sink doesn't seem to be backing up. Although I don't know if I used enough water to make it get to the point where it would back up. But I said, hopefully whatever sewer line is backed up, it's not the toilet included, because that would not be a good situation right now with 4 adults in our house. No, that would not be good. So we ended up, so I took off. I don't know, my husband got up. He's going to go and deal with it, I guess, after he has his coffee. Figure out what's going on with that. He doesn't know why it would be freezing, because the heat is still in our basement. So it could be outdoors. I don't know. We've never had frozen stuff like that before. So off I go to get groceries, and I just wanted to check in with you guys. I know the last video I did, I signed off like it was going to be the end of it, but I haven't uploaded it yet, so I'll add this to the end of that one. And just wanted to check in and tell you guys I'm just really excited. I've been talking to a friend of mine who's been doing some bundles on Amazon. And I've been starting to watch more videos again on YouTube about bundles. And I'm just really excited and invigorated again to get going with Amazon. And I think I'm just going to do bundles. I was out scanning some products the other day for retail arbitrage, trying to find some replenishables. And I was just like, I do not like this at all. I don't like it. I was actually scanning Valentine's stuff, and I found some items, but there's just not a lot of time between now and Valentine's Day. I don't know if I mentioned this already in my travel time video, but I feel like there's just not enough time, and that if I buy stuff and send it in, it's just not going to get there in time. And I don't want to do FBM. I'm really trying hard to get away from FBM. I want to move back to 100% FBA. We're going to be traveling this summer, and I just don't want to be dealing with mailing out packages. I mean, I'm okay for quarter 4 because our plan is just to be home all during quarter 4. And I think at that point, it's just really imperative that you are flexible and able to do it. There was items that I was selling during quarter 4. I feel like I probably already said this, but when I looked at the people who did FBA, people were going to get it after Christmas. So I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to do much FBA probably during Q4, except for probably like stuff that I could pick up and send in like really early, like September, early October. But when the stores start to fill with the holiday items, I'm probably just going to do holiday themed items via FBM. So it'll probably be like that just during quarter 4. Right now, I just don't want to deal with that. Even with Easter coming, and of course, you can't send in meltables. So if you want to continue to do chocolates and stuff like that, you're going to have to FBM them. But I don't really want to deal with that. So I'm trying to find a way that's going to work best for me. And I'm thinking that maybe doing some bundles and trying to kind of crack that code again. I've done some bundles in the past. One bundle I ended up finally selling out of, but it took about 2 years. It's just not a quick enough seller for me to keep doing it. And then another bundle, I still have some of them, and I think I only created like either 10 to 15 of them to start off with to test the waters, and it's not seeming like it's really working out good. So I don't know if I just don't have the right keywords, which I was using, I think it's called merchant words to do that, but I got to figure out a better way because that's just not working. So I don't know if it's the keywords. I was doing pay-per-click, and I was talking to my friend who seemed to do pretty well over quarter 4 with some of her bundles that she did. And she was saying that she did not do any pay-per-click at all, which, I mean, like, that's really good. So I guess the trick is to find a product that somebody's going to search for without the pay-per-click to bring it up to the top and maybe not have as much competition. But she's got some pretty good competition for some of her bundles. It's like they're like variety packs, not bundles of, let's say, 6 of the same product, or maybe 3, like a cake mix, frosting and sprinkles. It's not something like that. Hers is just more of a variety of stuff, more of like a gift basket type thing. So I don't know. I'm just really excited. I was excited a few years ago. I even bought a class on bundling, and that's when I started my bundles 3 years ago, I think. And they just didn't really work out. And I was telling my friend that we did a video call the other day, and I was telling her that I watched this girl called Tamara T on YouTube. Or I used to watch her. I haven't watched her in a long time. I do notice she's selling classes now because I see ads for her pop up every now and then for her course. And she does private label. And she was talking about how, like a couple years ago, a video I was watching, she was talking about the products that flopped for her. And she's, like a multi-million-dollar seller now. And she was like, yeah, if I would have quit after my first product, I wouldn't be making the money I am now. I just learned that in that case, I think she ended up going with a product that was too saturated. And I feel like that's one of my first bundles. That's it. It was just definitely more saturated. And then my second bundle, I don't think it was saturated because there was really only one other seller that I felt like had a bundle in my category, but you could buy the individual items. There was a lot of like buying the individual items, but not the bundle part. But I just don't know if there was enough. Well, I take it back. I did research and I looked at Kiba and saw how much the competitor was selling, but that competitor, I think they're pretty much the only one, and they had a hold on the market. So somehow they were able to just keep that hold. And when I came in, I just wasn't able really to, compete with them. Where I just wasn't getting the sales at all like they were. And I felt like I added better value than what they were selling, but I just think that their rank just really helped them in the long run. Because if somebody was searching for what I was selling, you would get that bundle, but then you would get all of the individual things also. So unless somebody was scanning down to find the second option bundle, I just never made it to like the first page. So people would just be like, oh yeah, I'm just going to buy this. And then if I want this, I'll buy this separately, and not realize that you could have gotten it all together, most likely for a better price. Because I felt like my pricing was really good, really competitive. I wasn't making a lot of money on it, but it was, my first bundle, and I just kind of wanted to give it a try. Everything was purchased at wholesale. So so it wasn't like going out and buying stuff retail and trying it out. I don't know. I'm part of me really wants to kind of maybe do that bundle again and give it another shot and just replenish. But I don't know, now that it's been out of stock for so long, like probably like 9 months, it could hurt me. So I just got to do some more research on bundling, and I'm gonna just jump in and try some bundles. So we'll see how that goes. I'm kind of excited for it. The other thing I want to work on is brand registry, and see if I can get my brand registered. That's one thing that my friend did, was brand registry. So when you put in your bundle, right now, when you get a GTIN extension or exception, you have to list it as generic. So if you're going to list, I don't know, I'm just trying to think of something. Let's say you have, I don't know, I can't even think of anything right now. Let's say you have popcorn kernels, and you want to add in some flavoring with the popcorn, and then you want to add in like a popcorn bucket. Something I just came up with. That might be a good idea. I don't know. I haven't even looked it up. But if you were to do something like that, you might buy one brand of popcorn, a different brand of popcorn seasoning, and then a different brand of the bucket you're going to put it in. So if you were to do something like that, if you don't have your brand registered, then you would have to list that under the brand generic. And I think there's some validity to having like an actual brand when somebody clicks on it and they just don't see generic. So that's part of why I'm thinking maybe I will want to go ahead and add a I'm at Walmart now, and it looks like it's pretty busy today. A lot of people come out at 9 in the morning, I guess, to get their groceries. All right, I'll park right here. Number 4. Poor people, it's so cold. I'm not getting out and packing mine. It's too cold for that. But all right, I'll be right back because I got to check in and let them know I'm here. Hey. All right, I'm back. So while I wait for them, it's pretty busy, so I think it's probably going to be a little while before I see them come to me. I have to keep an eye out though, because sometimes they are really fast, but there's a lot of people. I see this one looks like she's putting in her groceries. She looks like she's putting in hers. That one looks like they're putting in there. I think I might be the next one. Wow, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm the 5th car here, and it looks like they're coming out. Two people are coming out with groceries. One of them might be mine. Get it quickly. So I'm gonna probably today, my goal so yesterday was Saturday and it was football day, and Patriots lost, which, yeah, I'm a Patriot fan, but they did not play at all good. I actually went to bed at halftime. I was exhausted, and I said, it's just not worth staying awake. Oh, okay, I think this is me, so I'm gonna let you guys go again. Woo! Well, I just went into Aldi's to get hamburger because they didn't have any at Walmart. Gosh, I do grocery pickup. I love grocery pickup, but man, it stinks when you find out that one of the main things that you really needed, they didn't have. And I had bought some hamburger because I want to have tacos for supper tonight. And I wish I would have known, because I would have been like, oh, you're out of stock of ground beef, then give me ground turkey. Or you don't have the 85%, I'll take 90 or 80 or something, just so I could have had hamburger. So I gotta look. The sun is in my eyes, I can't see the light changing very good. So I ran into Aldi's. It's right across the street from Walmart, and I said, oh, I'll go to Aldi's and get hamburger. So I went in, man, that place is so busy. I'm like, now I know why I do grocery pickup, because it is crazy. Of course, we do got that storm coming, and I'm sure that's bringing out a lot of people to prep and get stuff that they need. I mean, I love the hamburger at Aldi's. I don't like how... Sorry, now I'm going to be looking in a different direction because I put my phone up on my my little stand I have instead of leaning against it. But now I got to look like differently because it's flip-flopped than it normally is. So I got to look over here instead of over there. Well, whatever, right? I complain about that every time I do these videos. I complain about my stupid phone. All right, so people are out getting stuff they need for this big storm that's coming. It's going all the way down to the south, like Georgia, like North Carolina's getting snow. It's pretty bad, like all over, except for Miami, where my sister-in-law, my brother is. He just flew down yesterday. How amazing it is to wake up in the morning in Vermont and by like 11:30 in the morning be in Miami, Florida, and having lunch with your daughter because she lives down there. Like, that's exciting. I don't know. I love air travel. Just the fact that you can get somewhere so quickly. Of course, minus delays and stuff like that. So they were very lucky because there's been so many delays lately and cancellations with the airlines. I haven't flown in quite a few years. I used to fly all the time with my previous corporate job. I flew pretty constant on a regular basis. I was flying somewhere at least once a month, if not more than once a month, which I'm so fortunate of those years and the traveling I was able to do, the places I was able to see, parts of the country. It's funny that we were talking about Las Vegas. We were watching something the other night. Oh, Undercover Boss, and they were in Las Vegas. And I said, oh yeah, I've been there. And my mother-in-law goes, you been to Vegas? I said, yeah, I've been a couple of times. Like, I'm just so fortunate that, you know, work had provided me with so many travel opportunities. I've been to Vegas too when it wasn't work related, but my hair's all messed up. I don't like looking at myself in the thing. I mean, this is like a bad hair day anyhow because I wasn't able to take a shower. Today was wash my hair day. I wash my hair every other day. So back to travel. So I've been really fortunate, the places I've been able to visit. And, you know, when I think about living in Vermont, you know, obviously I've been to all of New England because it was just within a day's drive. You could go to all the different states, and we took a lot of weekend vacations and stuff like that in the summertime, and we'd go to Maine and New Hampshire and stuff like that. But when you talk about flying to places like Seattle, Washington, I've been there, and California and Texas, Florida. Honestly, I feel like I've been to almost every state in the United States except for Hawaii and Alaska. I've not been to those. I had a trip to Hawaii planned, and I was in Florida, and then when I flew home from Florida, I wasn't feeling so good, and my ears never like popped, you know, like the compression or decompression or whatever it's called, never happened when I got down. And I landed on like a Monday, and on Wednesday I was supposed to take off for Hawaii, and I called my doctor on Tuesday, or no, actually on Monday. I think I went right to the like walk-in clinic or something like that, and they said whatever it was, I think it was like right away, and they said, oh, you're not gonna be able to fly on Wednesday if your ears haven't popped. It's like it would be really painful for you to fly. So I ended up having to cancel my flight, and I just have never found the right opportunity to go again. Like, I've been offered, but there's always been something else that's kept me from going, so I haven't gone. So I'd love to go to Hawaii. Alaska, I'm hoping to do an Alaskan cruise. That is like on my bucket list right now. That's like top on my bucket list, is to do a cruise to Alaska. We kind of flirted with the idea a couple months ago. My husband and I were talking about taking the RV over this summer and canceling our trip. We were going to go back to Moab, Utah, and Texas, and other places that our trip last year was planned for, but with my husband having a heart attack in Utah it kind of screwed stuff up, and he wants to do that trip again. And we were kind of talking about maybe not doing that trip this summer, but instead taking the RV to Seattle, or if the border's open, maybe up to Vancouver, or I guess even, and I keep saying don't I? But going to California, because you can take an Alaskan cruise from there. And there's been so many great deals right now for cruises. So we thought, well, why don't we take the RV cross country? We'll get there. Maybe we can even park the RV at a campground and pay like a weekly fee to park it there. It'd probably be cheaper than paying for parking at the port. Not to mention it'd probably be safer. And then we could just take like an Uber or something to the port and go on our cruise and then come back. But with the COVID, and it's just gone crazy with Omicron and so many people getting sick, that some of the cruise lines have just been, well, all of the cruise lines have been just flooded with the illness, even though they make you show that you test negative. So this is with Carnival. Right now, you got to test negative 2 days before your cruise. Then when you get to and you have to be vaccinated. And I think you have to be, whatever the CDC says, like 5 and up. Why do I feel like they're saying 2 and up? I don't know. I don't have kids, so I don't pay attention to the age of kids stuff. But if you can be vaccinated, you have to be vaccinated. You have to test negative 2 days before. And then when you get to the port now, they're testing you with a rapid test. You've got to test negative again before you can get on the ship. So my husband had a friend who has been planning a cruise for over 2 years now. We were actually talking about maybe going on it, and we decided not to. And then it got canceled. I think it was probably last year it got canceled. So they postponed it, and they're doing it now. It's like a retired military cruise for what my husband used to do with munitions and weapons and stuff. So they were all going on this cruise. And his friend got to the port, tested negative, but he had a fever, and they wouldn't let him on the ship. And he's like, maybe people just run hot all the time. My husband always runs hot. He's like a furnace sitting next to him, or should say sleeping next to him. It's like a furnace. And so he wasn't able to get on the ship. And he's like, oh my God. It's like, went all the way down there, paid for his airline, all that stuff, did all the protocol up until then, and then they wouldn't let him on the ship. Which, as a somebody sailing on a cruise, I love that they're being that particular with things. As somebody who could get down there and then be turned away, that would not be good. Especially if you know you're not sick, you tested negative twice, you don't have anything but the fever. But how high of a fever was it? I didn't hear. But if your body temperature isn't always 98.7, I think isn't that the average? But if your body temperature is always 99.1, and they do a test and you're 99.1, you'd be like, well, that's what I always am. That's not a fever for me. That stinks. But I guess if you know you're like that, then you probably would want to get a letter from your doctor stating that your normal body temperature is 99.1 and that's not a fever for you. I would probably be proactive and have something like that in hand if I knew that was something that I had. So we talked about doing that, and I love to do that. I love to travel. I love to see places. I know we're not going to end up doing it now, which is really too bad because the prices are just ridiculously cheap. Some of the cruises we were looking at were $25 for a person for a week. $25. Then once you paid for the port fees and all that kind of stuff and the gratuities, it came up to $500 for 2 people for a whole week to travel. That is amazing prices for a cruise. And that was a balcony room. So I really want to go on one. I don't know. I'm tempted. I'm so tempted. Really tempted. We might just drive from New York. We could drive to Baltimore and take one out of Baltimore. And if for some reason we got there and it didn't work out and we weren't able to go, if for some reason they tested my husband and they said, oh, you got a fever, you're 98.9, then we would just make do, because at least we're not out the cost of airfare. We would get a refund on our trip, and we would just take the the money and go somewhere else and in the area. Maybe go to DC, or I don't know. We would find something to go do. Maybe go thrifting. We did that one time. Him and I, we did a trip. I was actually for work. Instead of flying down, I told my boss that I wanted to drive. I was still working part-time at the time as a contractor for the Navy. And I was going to Virginia. And my husband and I drove down, and we hit up every Goodwill outlet that there was from, I think I was in New York at the time, from northern New York all the way to Virginia, taking Interstate 81, and then whatever we took from that point, I don't remember. But we got off. So many times we were searching, and the GPS, we went to like the goodwill.org website and looked up the ones from there. And it had us going in areas that were like, where is this place? We could never find it. So sometimes we got off, took a little road trip around a town, and then got back on the interstate because we couldn't find the building. But I did hit a couple really, really nice ones. One was, I can't remember the name of the town, but it was south of DC, not very far south of DC, and I'm pretty sure it was in Virginia. I'm trying to think of, there's a town that's got a really funny name. We ended up staying at a hotel that was literally within walking distance, like right across the parking lot. You could stay at a hotel and walk across the parking lot to get to the Goodwill bins. We ended up staying there, and I told my husband, I'm like, we really need to come back down and hit those again. They were really good ones, and they were fun. They were clean. The people weren't too rude, because sometimes you go to those Goodwill bins and they're just so rude. But as much as I enjoy doing that and going to the bins and going thrifting and all that, which I absolutely love doing, I don't want to get into that type of selling anymore. I'm trying to get myself out of that. So I'm kind of battling myself. It's kind of when I say, no more junk food in my house. We're only going to eat healthy. We're going to take away the junk. And then I end up, today, I got ice cream in the back, right? So I'm like, geez, I'm trying to do something, trying to be better with stuff. I've been trying to eat better since October. I've struggled with the in-laws moving in, because they've been here for like 10 weeks now. And they love their snacks and their cookies and all that kind of stuff. And I think they finally got the hint, because they have not been bringing very much in since the holidays. But I've been bringing some in, and I made cookies yesterday. So it's kind of like, I don't want to be fulfilling orders anymore. I want to steer away from that. I think it's going to take me a good year to kind of get out of that. I think I'm going to run a huge sale on the clothes that I've got on Poshmark and eBay and stuff, and just discount them really low. Speaking of that, I went on yesterday. I was looking for a Tampa Bay Buccaneers t-shirt, because we are Tom Brady fans in our house. I am a huge Rob Gronkowski fan. Love them. Followed them both, obviously, when they were at Patriots. We're Patriot fans first and foremost, but we both really like Tom, all four of us in our household. We were actually talking last night about if the Patriots and Tampa Bay made it to the Super Bowl, who would we cheer for? And man, it was really a tough decision to answer that. I really had to think hard about it. And I said, ultimately, I'd be cheering for the Patriots, because I am, first and foremost, a Patriot fan. But I love Tom Brady, and I love Rob Gronkowski. So I went on about a Tampa Bay shirt so I could wear it during the Tampa Bay games. Until Tom Brady and Rob aren't playing with them anymore, I'll continue to follow them and cheer them on. And I went on, so I ordered one from Macari last Sunday. It still hasn't shipped yet. And Macari sent me a message saying, hey, we've reminded the seller to ship. Well, they still haven't shipped. So probably come, like, if they don't ship on Tuesday, then Wednesday I'll just request a cancellation. And, well, Macari will probably cancel it anyhow, because it will be over a week. But with Monday being a federal holiday, the post office isn't open, so they're not going to mail it Monday. So that's why I'll give them till Tuesday. So I went on and I was looking, and there wasn't any other really nice shirts I liked. And then I went on eBay and I sorted by price. and I found a shirt for $2. I think it was like $2.40. Like, who can make money? And it was new with tags. Like, who can make money selling something for so cheap? I ended up looking at their whole store, and everything was like $2 and $3. It was so cheap, and shipping was like $4 or $5. So they're not making a lot from the shipping, if anything. They are in Utah, so they have to ship from Utah all the way to New York. They do a flat rate shipping. They didn't do calculated, so I'm sure however they figure it out, they're probably padding the shipping just by a bit, but it's not enough to make up for how cheap they're selling their items. So I then went and looked at their sold, because their whole store was 55% off. And I looked at their solds, and everything is so cheap like that. And I'm thinking, how are they making any money? How are they making any money? I don't get it. All right, I'm home. So this will be it. I am going to definitely upload this video today with the other ones and combine them up so you guys can get to watch them before they get too old. But just wanted to say Happy New Year again. And I hope you guys are having a great New Year. I hope it started off good. I hope you're still on track for your goals that you made for yourself. And I will see you guys next time. Hey, what I said at the other video about liking, subscribing, all that kind of stuff, go ahead and do it. I'd appreciate it. All right, talk to you guys later. Bye.